Good evening. I'd like to call the Windsor Board of Education meeting of Tuesday, May 16th to order. Please stand for the pledge of the flag and then a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Good evening to all, and the next item on the agenda is always an exciting one when we get to celebrate some great students in Windsor. So I'd like to turn this over at this time to Dr. Hill.
Thank you, President Fury. So as you said, this is a great time of year, and it's always nice to honor students. So tonight we're going to have our CABE Student Leadership Awards presented. So each year, the Windsor Board of Education recognizes two outstanding students from both Windsor High School and Sage Park Middle School to receive the Connecticut Association Boards of Education Student Leadership Award. This award was developed to give local boards of education a chance to reward student potential. Students who are selected exhibit exemplary leadership qualities as defined by a list of criteria developed by the CABE Board of Directors. So to introduce the recipients from Windsor High School and from Sage Park Middle School, I'm going to call the principals forward. First, I'd like to ask Principal Breon Parker from Windsor High School to come forward so he can introduce the recipients from Windsor High School.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So tonight I have the privilege to present you with two outstanding Windsor High School Senior Award recipients of the CABE Award. I observed their leadership voices evolve throughout their 4 years at Windsor High School, developing into the role models they are today. While several students at Windsor High School are worthy of this award, these two student leaders have separated themselves throughout their academic performance, hard work, dedication, and student advocacy. So the first recipient that I'd like to introduce is Ms. Sage Dehaney. Sage engages in extensive community service initiatives such as fundraisers that benefit breast cancer research and treatment, food drives connected to local churches, and anything that supports engaging students and youth. Her smile and spirit are infectious, and she's the type of person that will not only brighten your day, but enhance your heart. Sage is always positive, and at times where I thought she could have the right to feel slighted, she will go into action planning mode and graciously say, "Mr. Parker, we've got this." While thoroughly embracing all people and cultures, Sage upholds a strong sense of responsibility in modeling and illuminating Black excellence. Since her childhood days, Sage has been socially aware of the marginalistic views attached to people of color. These observations and experiences have motivated her to facilitate public speaking along with partnerships with peers and adults and participation through organizations and programs such as Anytown, the Windsor High School Leadership Council, Leadership of Greater Hartford, the National Black Cooperative, the Windsor High School Action Club, and the End Racism Now mural in the towns of Windsor, just to name a few things. Sage has exhibited time and time again that she holds the skills to excel at anything that she does, but I believe her potential is something I don't think we can actually forecast. The sky's the limit for this young lady because her work ethic is impeccable. Her character and infectious personality are arguably her most outstanding attributes, and her efforts to help others extend well beyond the walls of Windsor High School. I could go on and on about Sage's efforts, potential, and what she means to Windsor High School and the greater community, but I will close with this. Sage is the epitome of a Windsor portrait of a graduate and embodies all of the CABE leadership skills with emphasis on the willingness to take on challenges and concern for others. I feel fortunate and proud to be her principal and can't wait until we witness her impact on this world. Sage will be attending Howard University in the fall, leaning towards a major in criminal justice. Members of the board, I present to you Sage Dehaney. You call her now. Is she going now? Yeah, so you come around and shake hands. You want to go touch her? They're going to do a picture after. So.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay.
Are we going to take a quick picture? I'm a board member.
All right, so Windsor High School's next recipient, I think you already know this one. So Tristan Davis, as you know, Tristan is Windsor High School's second semester representative and is doing a tremendous job. Seated to my left. If you have been to any of Windsor High School's musical performances, you would have seen Tristan in action doing what he loves. Tristan has been committed to the trumpet and creating music since a very young age. In addition to music, Tristan has proven to be a solid and consistent student, role model, and a leader. But what stands out most about him is his work ethic and the pride he takes in everything he does. Tristan is a student advisory leader, leading SEL lessons during our Connections block to Windsor High School underclassmen. And he has been committed to 4 years at our Air Force JROTC program. He currently serves as Operations Squadron Commander. He is a 4-year member of the Jazz Ensemble and Symphonic Band, assuming these leadership roles in his junior and senior years. Tristan is very planful, intuitive, and embodies every CABE leadership element, with emphasis on honoring commitments and diplomacy. I will miss bumping into him in the hallways or his pop-up visits to my office just to discuss life, the future, or what fly suit he is going to wear. But most of all, we look forward to the leadership he will bring to whatever he does beyond the walls of Windsor High School. Students like Tristan make dreary days bright and remind you of why you chose to be an educator. Members of the board, I present to you Tristan Davis.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Mr. Parker.
Moses, it's good to see you. Congratulations. I know you're proud. Oh my God, you get, oh, Madison. Folks want to see my face.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Principal Parker. At this time, we're going to have, Principal Leanna Jorgensen, Sage Park Middle School Principal, present her CABE Award winners from Sage Park.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you. I want to echo the sentiments of Principal Parker as well. Tonight, I'm here to share with you two dynamic students from Sage Park Middle School, but I also want to congratulate and celebrate the two high school students. They had their humble beginnings at Sage Park Middle School, so go Tristan and Sage. Love it. So it is my pleasure to present the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education Award to Danielle Garcia for the 22-23 school year. Danny's commitment to being selfless as his role as a leader have made him a significant impact on his peers and the overall school environment at Sage Park. Danny has shown many leadership qualities in his 3 years at Sage Park Middle School. He is always willing to assist classmates in need of a helping hand and takes time to explain while helping his peers problem solve. Not only does Danny help in academic scenarios, he also enjoys being involved in the community. As president, selected by his peers, of the National Junior Honor Society, Danny has brought NJHS members together to help support the Project Santa event for Windsor. Project Santa provides toys for children in the Windsor community who otherwise may not receive gifts during the holiday season. In addition, Danny, along with the other NJHS members, volunteered to collect snack items for the Snack Shack at Sage Park Middle School, wherein which our growing students occasionally may need a little bit more than the lunch may provide. In addition to facilitating volunteering opportunities for his peers, Danny also volunteers on his own, such as serving food right here to the elderly at LP Wilson. Mrs. Haynes, Danny's ELA teacher, shared that Danny is a responsible leader who is always looking for ways to improve his school for his peers. Now, not only is Danny an exceptional leader, but he is very skilled academically. He has earned high honors every year he's been at Sage Park. He's also been recognized by numerous times to Student of the Month and received the Windsor Education Book Award and Presidential Award. Danny is also one of the few students who are taking honors geometry and honors algebra in 8th grade. Danny's never discouraged and leads by example. He finds ways to push through even when he faces academic challenges. He is never afraid to ask for help, and he always gives 100% of his effort to school in order to achieve. It is clear that Danny has a deep understanding of the importance of service and leadership. His efforts contribute to fostering a sense of unity and compassion among the students and have a lasting impact on our school culture. Without further ado, it is my honor to present the CABE Award winner, Danielle Garcia. Did they give it to you before or after? I don't even know. I lose one of these. Let's go. Danny, you want to hold the prize in your hand? Did you take a picture with the prize? It's good to go. Oh, it's a live mic. I'll see him.
All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Can we have her? Yes. I thought it was photography.
Lourdes, this prize.
That's going to be a new student dress code, by the way, just to let y'all know.
Oh, gosh, the tux. All right, for my next outstanding student, it is my pleasure to present the CABE Award to Cheyenne Downs for the 22-23 school year. So Cheyenne has earned this award as a result of her leadership and dedication to making the Sage Park school community a better place for all students. Mr. Guerrera, her social studies teacher, shared that Cheyenne is mature beyond her years and has shown time and time again that she focuses on whatever goals she sets to achieve for herself. She's a hard worker who understands the value of time and does not hesitate to put in extra hours to turn something adequate into excellent. Cheyenne has proven that she's always willing to take on challenges, even when they are complicated. Cheyenne fights hard for what she believes in, trust me, I know, and never takes no for an answer. Cheyenne is one of the founding members of the Sage Park Student Social Justice Club. She embodies the true meaning of a warrior princess. She genuinely has concern for equality, justice, and inclusivity, and it is evident in the way she champions the rights of marginalized communities and advocates for positive change. Her efforts have helped to foster a greater understanding among peers and adults alike in the school. Currently, our school's social justice club has blossomed, whereas students are now participating with adults and are sharing ideas from students' perspective. Through Cheyenne's efforts, she and her peers have created space where important conversations about social issues can take place. Cheyenne has been described as being kind, hardworking, and determined to do well. Her ability to effectively communicate and collaborate with others has been instrumental in driving positive change and fostering a sense of unity among students. She's a great advocate for self and diplomacy. She works well with others, but she also knows when to focus on self. Her daily decisions focus on being the best student she can be, despite having to make difficult decisions. Academically, she has shown significant growth in all of her classes. She asks questions, to understand concepts, and doesn't stop until she fully gets it. Her language arts teacher, Mr. Yeoman, shared, Cheyenne is beyond mature. It's evident. She leads by example in the classroom. She's determined. She's proactive. She's committed to mastering all concepts that are difficult and does not give up. She is respectful of her classmate and works well. Cheyenne is and will be a force to reckon with. I see great things for her in the future. Congratulations to Cheyenne Downs, the recipient of the CABE Award. She's like, oh my God. I take it for her. Oh, I owe you a hug. Oh. I'm sorry, Lotus.
Okay, our next order of business is our audience to visitor. And Alexis, if you could read the script.
Good evening. This is Alexis Shack from the Superintendent's Office. If there's anyone from the public who would like to address the board, you may do so in 2 different ways. If you are using the Zoom application on your mobile device or computer, you may enter your comments into the Q&A feature located at the bottom of the Zoom menu bar. Or you may raise your hand on your computer if your device has a microphone by selecting the participant's icon on the Zoom menu bar and then clicking raise hand, or by dialing *9 on your phone. You will be given 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and address. When you are called on, you will be promoted to panelist. After you make your comments, you will return to attendee status. For clear communication, we ask that you do not place the call on speakerphone. No comments can be made against the employees of the school district or children outside of your own.
Thank you. And when we get to the 2.5-minute mark, Vice President Lockhart will raise a red card to indicate you have 30 seconds. And Then he'll raise it up and hold it at the 3-minute mark, which will say, please conclude your remarks. If you're on the phone, obviously you cannot see his red card, but Mr. Lockhart will try to interject at the 2.5-minute mark just to do the same thing to let you know your time is winding down. So at this point in time, I'd like to start with people who are in the boardroom who'd like to address the Board of Education tonight.
Good evening. My name is Mary Ann Doyle. It's been a long time. My name is Mary Ann Doyle. I've lived at 4 Kellogg Street for 30 years. My sons graduated from Windsor High School in 2005 and 2006. I'm here to support the motion to revise the program of study as proposed. I welcome the opportunity to speak to this motion and the attendant issues. There are 3 reasons that this motion is important. First, given the demographics of Windsor's population, and particularly the student body, we should feel not only a responsibility, but a sense of urgency to affirm the importance of African American Latinx studies and to teach the complex history of race, including contemporary issues. Secondly, all students should learn the accurate history of this country. Windsor's curriculum should fully incorporate the history and culture of marginalized people, including but not limited to African Americans, Latinx, and Native Americans. At Conard High School in the 1970s, I was fortunate to have history and English teachers who required reading James Baldwin, Malcolm X, and other controversial authors. This likely influenced my desire to raise our family in Windsor, a racially and economically diverse community, and later to volunteer on community projects with a focus on race and education. In 2004, I was privileged to serve on the original Committee for Community Conversations on Race, organized by town manager Leon Churchill. This was, in fact, one of the more powerful experiences of my adult life. Finally, when good options exist, isn't it always better to allow students to choose their own curriculum? Forever, Board of Ed members have been saying we need to keep Windsor students in Windsor schools. Research shows us that giving students choice raises a higher level of engagement and success, and therefore letting students pick this course or another course, the other course, in fact is just good education policy. Additionally, this course might be exciting in the relevant work that engages our students. And so I hope the superintendent will track their interests and feedback. As a matter of fact, I wish I could audit the course. Perhaps this country's history makes us uncomfortable, and it should, but that discomfort should spur us to act with courage to do the right thing. Thank you for proposing this revision and giving the community an opportunity to speak to the importance of it. Today, I hope that we will move forward as a community, however incrementally, to support the motion. Nonetheless, the proposed motion is just a step forward. It is not the final solution. To that end, we must ask the board's president and the superintendent, what steps will you take to complete the task and reach the goal of teaching the true and complex American history to all students at all levels? Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Next person to address the board, come on up. First come, first serve.
Good evening. My name is Eric Weiner, 130 Palisado Avenue. I come to you this evening to offer some praise and to prod yourself to move in certain directions. First, to the 4 students that were honored today, incredible, just amazing. The prodding there is you all prodded me to dress better when I come before the Board of Education. I was thrilled to see the evolution of the school district's curriculum in the high school and fully support, as Ms. Doyle stated, the adoption of the curriculum change up for discussion tonight. There's no doubt in my mind that, particularly given what's happening in society today, with a retrograde push to limit voting rights, banning books, limiting bodily autonomy, that our students must learn the history of where we have been, where we are, to ensure that we go in the right direction. My big prod is do not give in to backwards-looking ideas and concepts, some of which have been expressed by members of this board, to move back to a time that never existed. We must move forward and not allow a past fantasy of what the world might have looked like back in 50, 60, 70 years ago. It's not going to get us anywhere. Quick switch of change, direction for prodding. Windsor turns 400 years old in 10 years. In 2033, we'll be celebrating our 400th anniversary as the first town in Connecticut. I would encourage you to start thinking a little bit longer term than the next 1 or 2 budget cycles, to start to address where you would like the school district to be in 10 years and set yourselves some pretty aggressive goals. And use that as an opportunity for a community conversation about what the students, citizens, faculty, and administrators are looking for the Windsor Public Schools. We have greatness ahead of us, but we also have work to do. The newest school in Windsor was Oliver Ellsworth. I opened that as a 3rd grader, and that's a long time ago. We have underinvested, and we need to ramp up our investment dramatically. Our town has 2 main goals: life safety and education. I believe everything else is gravy. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone else who'd like to address the board?
Yes. Thank you. My name is Lance James, 304 Dunphy Lane in Windsor. I'm new to Windsor. It's been here 12 years. I'm sort of like what you would call boots on the ground. I am an African drum teacher. I've been teaching for many, many years, over 20 years. I have the largest African drum organization in Connecticut. I have done work here in Windsor as well, in Windsor schools. And part of my program, we started talking about SEL. We started talking about social justice. So we'll sit down in the drum circle with my students, and we'd play the drums, because that's one of the reasons they're there for. And then we'd open it up to discussion. Today, the children, the students want to know. They want to know what's going on. Why has history been thwarted? Why has history been omitted? Why has history been changed? And how come we're not talking about all history, the indigenous Indians? I was fortunate enough at 5 years old to 10 to be a part of the Islamic nation. And I was taught history through the Nation of Islam, and was not the history I was learning in school. So I would raise my hand when the teacher said Columbus discovered America. And I said, and I think 3rd, 4th, 4th grade, how can he discover America when there are people standing on the beaches, Indians, trying to wave high because they're kind of afraid of what's next, but the high is a welcoming sign. And I got in trouble. Go along with the program. I didn't, fortunately. That's why I'm here today and can speak fairly intelligently on my history. The first thing I ask my students What's your name? What does your name mean? What is your ethnicity? Well, I can tell you mine. I have 4: Irish, Dutch, Indian, Seminole, which never signed the treaty, Seminole Indians, and African as well. And from that knowledge becomes a whole lot of conversation. Children want to find out now, where am I from? What am I about? They might find in their history that they come from kings. They come from importance. They come from a sense of pride. And pride is instilled in them once they learn about their pride. It would be a travesty to change up the program, because when you say stay out of that cookie jar, they want to get in that cookie jar even more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Susan Kirshner Robinson, and it has been a long time since I've come before the Board of Education. I live at 19 Laurel Avenue, and I want to thank you for the opportunity tonight to express my support of the African American Latinx course that is being revoted on tonight. I think this course should be offered. I also think this course and the curriculum that it covers should not stand alone, but should be embedded in all U.S. history we are teaching K through 12. U.S. history is complicated, and I hope the development of this curriculum will expand to include Indigenous, Asian, and the many other people who are part of the American family. Leaving gaps in U.S. history creates ignorance. Honest conversation can be so hard. However, it is very healthy. And we would not have a Board of Education sitting here questioning whether we should be teaching the latest advances in chemistry or in math to our students. Both my children attended Windsor schools K through 12. And during my time in the schools, I participated in conversations on the achievement gap and conversations on race. Both of these conversations motivated me to become a facilitator in these programs. More recently, when I was president of the Windsor Library Association, the association partnered with the Windsor Public Schools and the Windsor Public Library in supporting the summer reading kickoff at Wilson for their June 18th program. Again, this course is a small first step in providing curriculum that reflects what has occurred in U.S. history. My hope is that the U.S. history course in our future will encompass the many cultures and people who are part of the U.S. family, and that this is not an option, but it is information and curriculum all of our children are exposed to. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to address the board?
Okay. Hello? I can't hear myself on this, so I just want to make sure you guys hear me. Okay. So normally I don't speak it. Oh, Evelise Correa, 63 Timberlane. Normally I don't speak at these meetings. I'm usually at the Connecticut General Assembly this time of year, but I felt like it was very important because my children are currently Windsor students. My daughter graduated last year, but my son's a freshman. I have two more that will be graduating from Windsor High as well in a couple years. I remember when this curriculum was being debated. It was legislation introduced by a Hartford teacher named Bobby Gibson. He taught at Kinsella, and this was a heavily debated bill, which passed for obvious reasons. This is education that we need. So now that we're revoting on this legislation, I'm a little frustrated that we do have to go through the second vote. Every February, our students have MLK shoved down their throat, their Rosa Parks out. But our students don't have any knowledge about MLK and the ties to Windsor Shed Tobacco. They don't know exactly why it was in 2020 that the statue of John Mason was removed from over in Windsor. So these are things that students should know. These are things that would be part of the curriculum. And when we talk about American history, we would really be robbing our students if we did not give them this opportunity for a full curriculum. Something that's not watered down, something that's honest. Kids talk a lot about how they get most of their history lessons now from TikTok. And I believe that Windsor should be at the forefront of this because we have so much in our town's history when it comes to things that will be in this curriculum. Our town sometimes was the catalyst for it. So it would be a shame if we really gave up this opportunity when Windsor, Connecticut has been such a big part of history. So I yield my time, and if you guys have any questions. All right, well, thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, Sally Grossman, 34 Remington Road. So I was born and raised in Windsor. I went through the Windsor public school system. And when I had children, I have a fourth grader and a kindergarten who are now in the Windsor public school systems. I knew that I wanted to raise them here, and I knew that I wanted them to be educated in this town, because I realized that this town, what we have here, isn't normal. It is not what happens in other part of the country. We have such a diverse population, and that is a gift for every parent here to give to their child in order for them to be educated in the school system. The problem is that this already passed. You guys already voted to have this curriculum as part of like a social studies credit. And so I don't know why we're here. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time for us to do this again. This is not a change in curriculum. This is nothing that requires a 2/3 vote. So really what is happening here is everybody came out to basically just give into, you know, some racist white people on the board. And this should not be acceptable. We shouldn't all be here. It really is a waste of time. So I just hope in the future that we do better and that we don't just have everybody come out to say what we've already said, to support what we already support, because our town overwhelmingly supports this. This is why we voted for who we voted for on the Board of Ed. So that's it. Thank you.
James Madison, Fitzmaurice Circle. First, I want to say thank you to Dr. Hill's staff, particularly Ms. Feynman, for getting me all the curriculum on the course in question. It's an excellent course. I love it because it talks at length, actually, about black entrepreneurship and black capitalism throughout the 20th century and even into the late 19th century. Love that aspect of it. The Black and Latino Study course is not on the chopping block today. I just want to be really clear about this, right? This is already passed. It's already offered to juniors. It's already there. Nobody's challenging that. The question in front of the board is whether freshmen should have the option of taking the Black and Latino Study course instead of the Early Global History course, right? Now, my concern is that the Early Global History course will now effectively be optional. So instead of having to take world history, early world history, having to study early world history, understand the entire planet and all the cultures on it, students are now going to have the option to take a more narrow course, important as it is. But I'm not concerned about whether it's Black and Latino. I'd have the same concern if it was Asian. I have the same concerns if it was Greek and Italian. I have the concern about letting kids opt out of early global history, which puts them behind and then puts them further behind when they go into late global history. Now, what's particularly challenging about this one is that the Black and Latino study course is going to disproportionately attract Black and Latino kids. We know this from Dr. Hill's chat and show where he talked to the teacher who's actually teaching this course, which is not being challenged. The problem is, if you route Black and Latino kids towards this course, which is de facto going to happen, I know it's open to everybody, but that's what's going to happen, disproportionately, Jewish, Asian, and white kids are going to take the world culture course. And they're going to go down the world path, and they're going to all get released into the global economy together. We're all in a global economy, whether we like it or not. And we're all going to compete in a global economy. And the kids who are as thoroughly prepared as possible to compete in the global economy are going to have an advantage. And because this course is going to disproportionately attract Black and Latino kids, it's going to result in a disproportionate number of Jewish, Asian, and white kids going into the world studies course. And when they're all released in the job market, there's going to be a disproportionate advantage to anybody who stayed on the global track. And again, this has nothing to do with whether Black and Latino studies. It has to do if it was any other thing distract you from understanding the globe, the cultures, and how that feeds into the world economy, because the success of the kids in the future is what I'm concerned about. One of the great purposes of history is to ask yourself how to use it to your advantage in the future so you can be more successful. And if you study the global track, you're going to go out there and you're going to be more competitive in the global economy, you're going to have more opportunities, you're going to have more income. And if you get off that track for whatever reason, it's going to be less of an understanding of the world. And this class will disproportionately, this excellent class with great curriculum that talks about Booker T. Washington at length, one of the great capitalist thinkers of the modern age, nonetheless, it's going to distract from the track of global understanding, and it's going to disproportionately harm the very people you're trying to help.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to address the board? Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Gabby Barnes, and I am not a Windsor resident. I am a Hartford resident, but I grew up here in Windsor, and I graduated from Windsor High School in 2005. I am wildly in support of the option for freshmen to take an African American and Latinx survey course. That was not offered to me when I was in school, and quite frankly, I left school feeling very disengaged and did not re-engage with education until college. As a result of taking gender and sexuality courses and African American history courses. Through those courses, I was able to see myself as a global citizen and understand my people's contributions to the global society. Black and Latinx people make up the global majority of this world, and their contributions have been very, very, very well documented, but are not being shared with our students. I echo the sentiments of another speaker today in that I would love to take this class, so I hope that at some point you will consider an alumni option. I will pay. And I also echo the sentiments of another speaker tonight that lots of kids are getting history on TikTok. And why not put education back in the hands of our schools and allow them to learn these very contentious and very challenging topics with the support of an educator who can walk them through what they're feeling and what they're experiencing. I'm sure there's more to be said tonight, and I would like to leave the floor for others to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the boardroom who would like to address the board? Seeing none, Alexis, is there anyone online who would like to address the board, or any statements in the chat?
Mr. President, there is an individual with their hand raised, and there is a question in the Q&A feature.
Okay, let's have the person who has their hand raised first.
Next caller, you may speak. Please go ahead and state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Becky Jacobson, and I live at 50 Lighthouse Hill Road. I'm here to speak about the African American and Latinx history course that is being offered as an option for Windsor High School freshmen. I simply want to make sure that we are having the actual facts presented here. This African American and Latinx history course is required to be offered by the state of Connecticut. The state of Connecticut developed this curriculum, not Windsor Public Schools. The state of Connecticut chose Windsor, along with a small number of other districts, to be the first to offer this course 2 years ago. This course has been offered at the high school for 2 years already. This repeat vote tonight does not debate the curriculum of the course. This course has previously been offered for credit as an elective, and this vote only determines if the course can be counted as a social studies credit towards graduation requirements. This course is given as a choice. The only mandated or required social studies course for graduation is a half-credit course on civics that is taken in the senior year. You have to have 3.5 social studies credits to graduate, so there's plenty of choices. Every year prior, there are these 2 courses to choose from. This is not a woke history course, but it is simply history. Anyone who believes themselves to be a true patriot can tell the difference. All of the curriculum in this course can be accessed at https://PA1912.serc.co. If you're really concerned about the curriculum, go check it out. SERC stands for the State Education Resource Center. But again, this is not a vote that debates the curriculum, only whether this course is offered as an elective credit or a social studies credit to freshmen. There is also not a 2/3 vote required for this to pass. A simple majority will suffice. Therefore, certain board members are ready and willing to waste the time of the district and its educators and parents and taxpayers by demanding another vote. And as a parent and a taxpayer, I want this district to be able to focus on how to do best by its students and by its educators, not prove that a few racist white people know how to stomp their feet and throw a tantrum simply because they can. Connecticut is one of the top 5 states in the nation for education in K-12.
30 seconds, please.
States that argue against courses like what Connecticut offers are usually ranked in the bottom 10% of the country. Are these the results we're trying to emulate? And do the board members who railed against offering these courses as options, because again, it's an option, really have the best interest of Windsor students at heart? Or are we trying to move in the direction of states like South Carolina and West Virginia, which are ranked in the bottom 10% of the nation in K-12 education?
Time.
I believe this vote will pass regardless.
Ms. Jacobson, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alexis, is the person who's got the question, have they identified themselves?
Mr. President, it's only saying that it's an anonymous attendee.
Then we will not take that. Anyone else? Last call. We are winding down on the time. Anybody else who'd like to address the board?
Just as FYI, we have 2 minutes left in the audience to visitors.
Seeing and hearing none, is it okay to close audience to visitor? Okay. Audience to visitor is now closed. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there anything before we have a motion that anyone would like pulled? Do we still have to? Ms. Cantor, what would you like pulled?
I have a question on the financial portion.
Okay. Okay, so you can pull that and then ask the question once we get that. Anything else to be pulled on the consent agenda? Okay, is there a motion?
Move the board accept consent agenda items 4B, enrollment report, 4C, food service report, and 4D, human resources report.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Lockhart, seconded by Mr. Panos to accept 4B, 4C, and 4D. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstention? Motion carries. I didn't know if Darlene is going to. 700. Is there a motion?
Yes. Move the board, I won't speak until you recognize me.
I recognize you.
Move the board accept consent agenda item 4A, financial report.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Lockhart, seconded by Mr. Panos to accept item 4A, the financial report, to Ms. Cantor.
Thank you. I was just wondering if there was a sufficient amount of funding in the Pequannock School for the strings class this year, and also the health class, because there was concern brought about that, because some of the students did not have the same number of health classes at Pequannock versus OE. And when strings students are not playing in the string band or the string orchestra, then they move up to the next year, elementary school, they're not going to be able to play an orchestra.
I don't know whether or not Dr. Hill is able to answer that question and whether it's really germane to the financial report. And if Dr. Hill isn't able to give us some answer today, if he could get back to us, would that be sufficient?
That's fine. I just want to make sure that students can do it. It was for this year. And I just wanted to ensure that all the students had the same opportunity.
So we're
Point
going
of
to
information?
Yes.
I believe if we recognize Ms. Batchelder, I believe she can answer the question.
Ms. Batchelder?
So the funding for all specials was reviewed last budget season, discussed with all principals, and approved by the Board of Ed and approved by, Cabinet moving forward. I would recommend if you have, a question on specifics, ask either myself or Dr. Haiti, and we can get you actual specifics, because I think things get misconstrued.
Thank you.
That's sufficient, and to get us back to the information about the equity there. Okay, we have a motion to accept the financial report. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstention. Motion carries 700. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of April 18th. Is there a motion?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve the minutes of the April 18th, 2023, 7 p.m. regular meeting.
And is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Taylor, seconded by Mr. Panos to accept the April 18th minutes. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Motion carries 700. Student representative report. Tristan.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Fury. So first off, it's wonderful to see so many faces in the boardroom. So it is a wonderful time to be a Warrior, as there has been so much that has happened in this past month to month and a half, starting with our mental health day that was brought to you by Dr. Braze and Mr. Parker, that featured snow cones, help for our capstones and study halls, or even laser tag, anything you could think of, even cupcake decorating. It was a wonderful time, and it was definitely a time to relax and de-stress. Second, I'm going to go to seniors with their college announcement. It was wonderful to announce finally, and also to just see everyone happy for their post-secondary plans, whether it be college, military, trade school. Now we have our music department winning big at our adjudication weekend in Pennsylvania, coming home with all excellent and superior awards. It was amazing to see all the hard work pay off. So we have our choir and our jazz ensemble winning first overall. So now we are going to switch gears to our other side of our departments, with our stagecraft crew, our unsung heroes pretty much. Them doing amazing work with our sound quality, our video, our lights. So you can check out their work at the Dub Hub YouTube channel. That being said, it was amazing to see our strings and our choir concerts as they're producing on such a high level every single year. And we have our final spring concert, our band concert, at 7 p.m. Windsor High School on Thursday in Milo Peck Auditorium. Please, please, please come. This is going to be the biggest band concert this district has seen yet. That being said, we have 2 students that were recognized for Scholar Athlete Awards, really putting the students into student athletes, really going crazy, whether it be straight A's, whether it be being leaders in the classroom and outside of the classroom on the track field. Now we have Teacher Appreciation Week, which it was great to see the teachers in high spirits, whether it be after-school activities with ice creams or even meetings and engaging with their peers. So our valedictorian and our salutatorian were announced to Krutzi Darsandia and Abigail Moring-Vile. Amazing job. I have the privilege to work with them and keep every day, and they work so very hard. That being said, we had our junior prom. You guys look absolutely stunning. You guys never fail to impress. And Monday morning, we had our NGSS science assessment that concluded to a 2-hour delay. Amazing job, juniors. So our upcoming events are our senior outing on Thursday, our band concert on Thursday, our art show on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., our Shad Derby on Saturday morning to afternoon, senior prom Saturday night, and graduation June 14th. So thank you, everyone. And as I start to conclude my term, as my last meeting is next meeting, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. It has been amazing to represent the students, and thank you to the students to putting your trust in me every single month.
Thank you very much. So it doesn't sound like much is going on. Questions for Mr. Davis? Mr. Lockhart.
Well, I guess I'll take a personal point of privilege. I've watched this young man grow up right before my eyes, and your parents have done a great job with you. I'm truly proud of you. On behalf of CABE, as First Vice President, I want to congratulate you as well as all the other award winners as well for the recognition that you received tonight on behalf of CABE. I'm hoping that the Lord will continue to bless you. You come from good stock, and I'm prayerful that the Lord allows me to see where he's going to take you. He's not done with you. Young man, you're about to go into the oven and go through some trials and tribulations to get to the man you're about to be. And I want you to embrace that challenge. There's going to be some lonely days, but there's going to be a lot of good days. And I want you to remain encouraged and never let go of the Lord's hand. He will guide you in every step you take.
Anyone else have questions? Ms. Cantor.
Thank you. I just wanted to congratulate you on your outstanding job, on everything and all your accomplishments, and I know you did well. And I hope you come back and visit us. Give us a report. Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I want to congratulate you as well. And before Mr. Davis started being the student representative, he came several times to meetings. So he did his homework about what it would be like. I saw Ms. Morin-Vile in her position and what she was doing here. I also had the privilege of accompanying Mr. Davis and also Sage Dehaney, who was here to a lobbying day that the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education had at the state capitol, and found out right away that they met most of our legislators, and the legislators didn't want to hear from the adults. They wanted to hear from the students. What's it really like? What do we need to change? What's working? And that was a great experience, and able to utilize what they're learning in the civics class and see it in action. So again, thanks so much for your service here, Mr. Davis. Next item on the, I always say this, Mr. Lockhart was always much better at this. You're able, if you'd like to stay for the rest of the time, but being, with your studies always coming first, we'll give you that option if you need to leave. Next item is the President's report. I was able to attend all the teacher and staff appreciation breakfasts, as did Mr. Lockhart, and saw Ms. Cantor at several as well, and Mr. Panos as well. It was great to be able to see that many people out and be able to at least give one day of recognition of the breakfast to staff. I attended the STEM and ELA night at Ellsworth with Team Paragon. We had a robotics demonstration where students were actually, young elementary school students were able to drive the robot, and the robot is still in one piece. I attended the World Language National Honor Society with Vice President Lockhart and Superintendent Hill. Before that, we were a little late because we were watching a volleyball game, so I can say at least I have taken in part of a volleyball game. An amazing boys volleyball, which is a brand new sport, and we're doing very well, including one young man who's, I believe, has a scholarship related to being a volleyball player. So hats off to him and the team as a new team. I spoke at the National Honor Society induction and wishing all the inductees well. There's a big group this year, and it shows the kind of leadership that we have, in not only academics, but in leadership and community service that goes on in Windsor Public Schools. I attended the other night the Sage Park Expo, which is showing the different enrichment clusters. There was great number of dancers as well as different clusters in the gym, in the library, and the cafeteria. And I believe I saw Mr. Halleck there as well.
I was there.
I attended the choir concert along with Ms. Taylor, Mr. Lockhart, Mr. Wollaston, and Mr. Panos, who even posed with a picture with us. Reluctantly, I think. We had to drag him up there. I've been attending, as I mentioned, the volleyball team, but also a number of other sports, baseball, JV baseball, in fact, traveled JV baseball, and softball as well. And everybody's doing well. That is my report. Any questions? Seeing and hearing none. The next is the school liaison reports. The first is Windsor High School, Ms. Taylor, and then Mr. Wollaston.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's so difficult to go after Tristan and you. And so I do feel Dr. Hill's pain of being going last. Yes, right, exactly. I'll say this. I echo everything that Tristan said. I couldn't have said it any better. I always say tune into the Dub Hub because that's where you can get all of your information. But I have to lift our musical department. As President Fury said, we did attend the concert this past week. But I was there, as I mentioned last meeting, as a chaperone. And to be in the space and see the level of professionalism that these students carry with them outside of the classroom, outside of the school, outside of town, outside of state is just astronomical. You could hear a pin drop as they walked from the bus to the venue. You could hear a pin drop as they walked from the bleachers, or with their instruments off the stage. And then of course, all the celebrations and cheering on their peers. It was amazing. Of course, they won all those awards because they're dynamic. So shout out to Mr. Monroe, Dr. Tracy White, and Dr. Paul Pierce, because I can't explain to you, if you haven't seen a concert, another shameless plug, as Tristan said, the last one of the year, to see this man, this gentleman perform will be on Thursday. This will be the meeting before the graduation, and I just couldn't be more proud. Being the Windsor High liaison for the entirety of my time sitting on the board, I've seen so many graduations come through, and I get misty every single time, but there's something special about this class. We've got Kruti and Abby who have just been outstanding leaders, and Tristan throughout, and to see them being valedictorians and salutatorians, and I just can't wait to hear what Kruti has to say, honestly. I told her when I grow up I want to answer the phones at her business. So with that being said, just congratulating the class of 2023. I'm honored to sign your diploma diploma. And keep doing what you're doing. We can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Willison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just echoing the sentiments of Ms. Taylor and our buddy here, Tristan. I got to say first, congratulations to the student athletes, our scholar athletes. It's one thing that we have such an amazing athletic program here at Windsor, but it's another that they are performing so well in the academic aspect as well. So congratulations to them. And also I'd like to share congratulations for Kruti and Abigail as well, as they're doing amazingly in leading their peers. We've worked very close with both of them. Kruti has spoken at many CAPE conferences, and Abigail sat up here right at the dais with us, and it was just amazing to see and work with them. And lastly, I would like to conclude just by mentioning what Ms. Taylor said as well, speaking on the music department. I was blessed to be able to sit at the spring concert. Was it last week? Yeah. Time flies so much, you lose track of the days, but it was amazing. It was amazing to say the least. Like, these kids are doing things with their voice. And I was telling Miss Taylor as we sat in the concert, a lot of these kids just went through puberty and had their voices changing and all this different stuff with their bodies and their voices. But under the direction of Mr. Monroe and under the direction of Dr. White, they're doing amazing things. They're very skilled, and we just have a lot of good going on in Windsor, and I'm very proud to be representing here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for our Windsor High School representatives? Seeing none, we'll go on to Sage Park. We'll start with Mr. Halleck.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you mentioned, Mr. President, I attended the Cluster Expo last week. It was definitely great to see our students take pride in their clusters. Definitely got to visit a lot of different rooms. One of my favorites was the garden club. Actually had a student wave me down and say, well, come in. Great smile on her face. So you could definitely tell that our students are very enthusiastic about their clusters, which is awesome. I also spoke with Principal Jurgensen, and she mentioned to me that Sage Park has the most clusters this year that they ever had. So definitely kudos to Sage Park on that. Definitely want to thank our teachers and our staff, as last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. So thank you very much to all of our teachers and staff for all their hard work this year. It is really appreciated. Tomorrow, May 17th, will be the spring choral concert from 6 to 8 p.m. May 24th is the spring instrumental music concert, also from 6 to 8. June 2nd will be the 8th grade dance. And then on June 9th will be the 8th grade promotional ceremony. So congratulations to all the 8th graders who are moving across the street to Windsor High. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any questions for Sage?
Mr. President, does Ms. Clace have her hand up? Wish to be recognized at this time, or we're pausing for her?
Mr. President, she did have her hand raised.
Do you want to see if she wants to comment on Sage Park, or?
Ms. Clace, I asked you to unmute, so you should have got an indication on your phone.
I guess we can't get her.
Ms. Clace, you are unmuted. Can you try to speak?
Thank you for trying. Next report is Clover Street.
Thank you. So pretty much it's the end of the year. It seems like every time I go into Clover, Mr. Farr chases me down and gives me more things to look into, so I'm glad about that. But for the most part, I just want to say thank you to the staff at Clover. Thank you to the principal. Ms. Lee has just been phenomenal with that building, really bumping up the morale in there. And I had a great time in there with the teachers, definitely during the teacher appreciation breakfast. So I know the teachers are counting down the time to enjoy their break. Just want to say thank you for all that you've done. And if we don't speak, enjoy your summer, and I look forward to you coming back refreshed in the fall.
Thank you. Any questions on Clover? Okay, Ms. Cantor, John F. Kennedy School.
Thank you. This month, we celebrated Teachers Appreciation Week, and we went to a lot of the schools, and Principal Wood did an excellent job supporting our teachers and the staff. I think she's done a great job there. We also celebrated Administrative Assistants Week and Nurses Week. They had a PTO meeting, and it was attended by Principal Wood and Mr. Gagne, as well as some others. They completed their SBAC testing during the month, and they will be having on Thursday, May 18th, a combined spring concert. It starts at 6 p.m. They also have a school-wide art show on Monday, May 22nd. They have field day on May 26th. The rain date is June 5th. Grade 5 picnic is June 1st, and they want volunteers. They also have a book fair coming up. It's going to be in the library. It's May 31st through June 2nd. They're also looking for volunteers to help out with that. And there is also swimming tryouts for the Windsor Water Rats. It starts May 22nd through the 24th and 25th, and it's for 5 years to 8 years of age, and you can sign up at windsorwaterrats.org. And they're also celebrating speech language pathologists because May is Better Speech and Hearing Month, so they help children and all people. And that wraps it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for John F. Kennedy? Okay, Oliver Ellsworth, do you know if there's a report? Mr. Panos?
Hi, thank you. Yes, yesterday they had the Strings Assembly and the Strings Concert. They even, apparently they had one of these beats and they did their own music to it. It's quite interesting. They expect to march on the Shad Derby, and the shirts that they wear for Quantic was designed by one of the students named Sarah Ramsey. So they're quite proud of it. She won in a competition. There you go. They expect to have the field day on May 31st. A lot of parent volunteers there and wonderful activities taking place there. They very much appreciated the teacher appreciation week. I went there. That was fun. They are looking forward to in June, the senior walk. I guess the high school students go back to the early days, and the kids get a big kick out of that, meeting the kids, seeing how things are going to be in high school. And on June 2nd, it's going to be Playground Day, and it is going to feature a person named Lefty Cycles who teaches bike safety, and always has a positive message for things. So they look forward to a lot of fun. So I think that they have, by the way, Stop and Shop in Windsor. If you buy a reusable bag, and just mention it, $1 goes to the Pequannock slush fund. Excuse me, the Pequannock School, the student activities. So that's my report. Thank you.
Any questions regarding Pequannock? The only thing I have for Ellsworth is because I think I've been voluntold to help with the book fair, which is going to be on May 18th. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. So first, I'd like to thank the community for voting for the budget for the third year in a row. The budget passed, first time out. I am very appreciative of that, and I'd like to give a special thank you to Danielle Batchelder for the work that she does. I just get to say what I want to see cut or removed, but she makes it happen, and she puts a lot of work into preparing that budget. And again, for the third year in a row, the budget is passed, and I'm very excited. And again, thank you, community. My next coffee talk is planned for Wednesday, May 24th at 6 p.m. It'll be here in the LP Wilson Courtyard. Please email Gianna Gill at ggill, that's G-G-I-L-L, at windsorct.org to RSVP. The Windsor High School Departmental Honor Cord ceremony will be held on Thursday, June 1st at 5 o'clock in the Windsor High School Auditorium. Immediately following at 6 p.m. will be the Windsor High School Senior Scholarship and Awards Night. This is always an exciting event for our graduating seniors, and is also an opportunity for us to see all the incredible support we receive from the community and from organizations and families. Just a reminder that graduation for Windsor High School class of 2023 is Wednesday, June 14th at the Bushnell Memorial in Hartford. The last day of school for pre-K to grade 11 students is Friday, June 9th, and it'll be early dismissal. The Windsor High School National Honor Society induction ceremony was held on Thursday, April 27th. President Fury congratulated the new inductees, and I like to also say I was happy because as a parent is one of the times I got to enjoy the hard work of my youngest child, Adia, so she was inducted to National Honor Society. I do tell people I'm a parent too, so I like those moments. And I also was pleased to announce the 3 superintendent awards given in honor of 3 previous superintendents. First, the Daniel Howard Scholar is Isabel Medina Ayala. The Dr. Earl S. Russell Scholar was Miss Abigail Morin Vile, and the Paul J. Sorbo Scholar was Miss Kruti Darsendia. The Windsor High School Art and Fashion Show is tomorrow night, beginning at 6:30 p.m. at Windsor High School. District staff will have the opportunity to attend the Yard Goats game on this Thursday, May 18th. This will be our last get-together before the holiday, our last get-together for this school year. Before the holidays, we had a get-together at Spare Times in Windsor Locks. I want to thank Ms. Christina Wachowski and her staff for arranging these events. We planned these so that we could have a couple of events during the year, morale builders, team builders, just time for staff to get together and hang out. So the last one will be the Yard Goats game. I will be attending the Building in SEL Nation, the Urban Assembly SEL Symposium in New York City with Dr. Mallory on Friday, June 2nd. And as it was stated by our student rep, but I want to read through again and name some specific folks. The Windsor High School Music Department participated in the Music in the Parks Adjudicated Festival in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Congratulations to Dr. White, Mr. Monroe, and Dr. Pierce, and the music students who received the following awards. Honors Chorale, first place, excellent rating. Teens of Praise Gospel Choir, first place, superior rating. Teens of Praise Gospel Choir, overall choir award. Jason Grant, most outstanding accompanist award, Gospel Choir bass instrumentalist. Mackenzie Swaby, Most Outstanding Soloist Award, Gospel Choir. Orchestra, second place, excellent rating. Symphonic Band, third place, excellent rating. Jazz Ensemble, first place, superior rating. Jazz Ensemble, overall Jazz Ensemble Award. Again, I'd like to echo that our music department, it has been throughout my career in Windsor and continues to be an amazing, bright spot for our school system. When they go out, they always come back with plenty of hardware, and I don't even want to say it's the best kept secret because it's not a secret. Windsor High School has amazing programs, but this music program is something to behold. The next Board of Ed regular meeting will be on Tuesday, June 20th, 2023 at 7 p.m. That's it for that portion of my superintendent's report. And at this time, unless you want to do the
Let's
motion
first see if there's any questions regarding Dr. Hill's report. Ms. Cantor.
I just have a comment. I just wanted to say that I think the orchestra, the strings and band, they're awesome. I wanted to comment that Windsor is the only district in the northern part that offers strings at such a young grade. Elementary school, if you check, there's only one town downstate that does this, so it gives the children a really great opportunity to start, and it's learning a whole nother language when you can read music and listen to it and play. And I think the strings teachers are great and the band teachers are great, and I know it's no secret, and you know I'm a parent, and you know my son plays cello and sax, and there's no room in his schedule, so he plays it at home, and he'll be playing taps across America again on Memorial Day. So thank you.
Thank you.
Plug that son, Mom.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Wollaston?
Yeah, I would just like to say congratulations to Jason Grant. He's an amazing bassist. Kind of reminds me of my little brother a little bit, but it's always nice to go to the concerts and hear him play, so that award is well deserved.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, the next part.
Can anyone ask questions here?
I know. At the end of the meeting.
I was going to say, bring the African drum on board, but anyway, go ahead.
Thank you.
At the end of the meeting, there will be another opportunity to audience to visitor. Dr. Hill?
Thank you.
Do we
So at this time, I'd like to call, excuse me, to the microphone, Ms. Bonnie Feynman.
Before you start that, I'm going to start with a motion.
Oh, okay.
And, Mr. Lockhart?
Move that the Board of Education approves the proposed addition of African American Studies course as an option for our ninth graders in place of early global studies to the program of studies for the 2023-2024 for a second reading.
Is there a second? Second. Motion made by Mr. Lockhart, seconded by Ms. Taylor. And at this time, we're going to have a presentation by Ms. Feynman.
Hello again. Thank you for having us again tonight. Bonnie Feynman, Director of Arts and Humanities for Windsor Public Schools. I have with me my esteemed colleague, Deja Brabham, who I brought with me last time. Just as a reminder for the folks at home and board members and members of the community who are here, Deja is an educator, public historian, and curriculum writer. She is a Fulbright Scholar who studied at the Royal Holloway University in London, and she is one of our esteemed Windsor High School social studies teacher who teaches our African American Latinx course as well as our civics course. She is the 2023 Windsor High School Teacher of the Year, and she was also just named the 2023 recipient for the Connecticut Council of Social Studies Teaching and Excellence Award. She's on the Connecticut Council for Social Studies as a board member and as a faculty member at Southern Connecticut State University, where she teaches U.S. history, and a member of the Anti-Racist Teaching and Learning Collective. I had to add new accolades this time. Last time we had new ones that were added as of today. So I'm very proud to sit beside her. She's a true expert in the course and in the area of social studies and history. Deja will give you a little bit of an update on what is happening in the course in terms of the most recent coursework to give you a picture of the kind of rigor, critical thinking that go into the course. But before we do that, I want to reiterate what our proposal is. The proposal that we are putting before you is to allow incoming ninth graders and future ninth graders to select from two options: early global studies, as one of the speakers tonight mentioned, or the African American Latinx history course. So just to reiterate, it's not a replacement of early global studies, it is an option. This would count, in this proposal, this would count as the student's freshman social studies course towards their 3.5 social studies or history credits required for graduation. As was noted earlier, we do currently offer the course as an elective. This would change that so that students could take it either as an elective or, again, for their credit for freshman year towards social studies and history. I did provide the board with the progression of courses from grades 6 through 12, so you have that at your disposal. It goes through the topics, the regions, and all of the different aspects of history, civics, economics, and geography that are part of those courses, so I won't go through that again. And wanted to repeat our rationale for those at home who were not tuning in last time. We do have students at our middle school, students who are with us from 6th grade on, take 2 years of global history at our middle school. Again, I outlined the courses for the Board of Education. Students go through 8 regions of history over 2 years to get a start on their early global studies. We feel that at African American Latinx history, this particular course serves as a perfect precursor for what students take in grades 10, 11, and 12. 10th graders take modern global history or AP World History. 11th graders take U.S. history or AP U.S. history, and 12th graders take civics or AP government. The course, as it should, because it was created by the state of Connecticut, has full integration of our C3 frameworks and all of the competencies that would be typical of a social studies class at Windsor High School. And we do feel that this course is a great way to get students ready for college. Most reputable and well-known colleges and universities require students to take courses like this, or diversity courses, non-Western courses, cultural courses. They're called a multitude of things. And we're just aiming to do an even better job of preparing Windsor students for their road ahead when they're in college. And then lastly, and Deja will give a little bit of an update on this, this is a very unique course that provides very student-centered, project-driven opportunities for students with a very high level of authentic application of their learning. And actually, I would like to see this course and how we teach it serve as a model for our other social studies courses as we move forward with any curriculum revisions. But I'm going to hand it over to Deja for just a quick update on what students are doing in the course right now to give you a little bit of an understanding of what happens on a day-to-day basis.
Hi, everyone. So just a quick update. So just recently in African American and Latino Studies, we finished up our activism unit where students had the opportunity to interview modern day activists or activists that are within our school community. So we had people who had worked with Cesar Chavez, people who attended the Million Man March, people who, one of the students actually ended up interviewing one of the organizations who put forward the legislation to the state to take the course, which was a great opportunity. I'm really proud of the work that they've been doing, and I think it serves as a model of really the work that students can do whenever they're trusted and heard and affirmed in what they want. I can just give a quick update. I asked the students again today when I saw them if they thought that this would be a great idea, and they once again said yes. So I think just listening to them is kind of the move to move forward.
And before we answer questions, I did want to answer 2 questions that came forward from Mr. Halleck. So I wanted to make sure we were able to answer those for members of the board and the community. We received a question about the time periods that are embedded in the course. If you look at the state curriculum, it's a very, very wide range of dates, but we're talking about the pre-1500s to present time, and it's a wide span. You also had the question about when we teach the Emancipation Proclamation, so we do teach that in 8th grade, and when we teach students about Jim Crow laws, we do cover those in 8th grade and 11th grade. So I just wanted to make sure to answer your questions before we begin. I didn't receive any other questions beforehand.
Okay, thank you. Do you want me
How would you like to proceed?
Do you want to make a motion or make a statement about?
So, Mr. President, would you like to go back and forth or between each board member?
Yeah, I think this is the second reading. We've heard about the course, and you've now expanded on that. What I'd like to do is go back and forth, and I was going to start with Ms. Clace, who unfortunately got dropped, but I think she may have sent Mr. Lockhart a statement. If you could read her statement, then we'll go to Mr. Halleck and go back and forth with questions or statements.
All right, so to paraphrase the word I for we plan to keep the focus on the vote to offer African American and Latinx history course in the 9th grade as an option or choice to early global history. The course is required to be offered by law and in the format as written by State Education Resource Center, SERC. It can be offered as an elective, as we've been doing. However, from what we understand, students are asking if there's a way to arrange the course offering so that they can accommodate and take the courses in their schedules. Based on student input and we imagine parent support and law, it has been recommended by professionals in our school to offer this as an option. The professional educators have also helped us to understand that students are not giving up anything. Content matters to student engagement. It keeps the students interested. Student voice matters, and it also supports student engagement. Engaged students, as we have seen in other meetings, perform at higher levels. We will be supporting this choice for our schools. So again, that's a statement from Ms. Clace, but I substitute the word I for we, because we all stand with the statement.
Thank you.
And when I say we, the Democratic Caucus, just for clarity.
Thank you. Mr. Halleck, do you have any questions or comments you'd like to make?
I do have a question. If students do take this as a freshman, they won't have that option to take it as a junior, right? There won't be any double dipping is kind of what I'm asking.
Right, they wouldn't take the course twice. So the option would be, you can, with the proposal, you can take it as a freshman if you choose to take it instead of early global. Or if you want, you take early global, and then you have the option of taking this as an elective in the 10th, 11th, or 12th grade years, but you wouldn't take the course twice, no. I think, is that answering your question?
It does answer
Yeah.
the question, thank you. You know, I definitely do think history is important. You know, as my dad used to always tell me, those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So it is very important. I just feel that it needs to be done in a certain order so students can get the best understanding of our curriculum. So that's why I support leaving it the way it is. I think I disagree with some of the speakers who spoke tonight and said that it's not good. Well, it's who didn't want to come back for a second reading. I feel I feel debate is a very good thing. I feel dissent can be healthy as well, so we can express all views, all sides, get everything on the table. I think that's very important. You know, the course, I think as Mr. Madison said, it's going to be offered as an elective in your junior year, no matter what, whether this passes tonight or not. So it's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. So that's, you know, that's definitely where I stand on this at this point. And that's all I have at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wollaston?
Yes. Last meeting, we were made aware that early global studies is actually taught in 6th grade, it's taught in 7th grade, and it's taught in 8th grade. So is that what it is?
6th and 7th.
6th and 7th. So upon getting to freshman year, it would be their 3rd time to take this class. So I know there are a lot of ideas about whether or not the kids will have this information or not, but they've taken similar curriculum 2 times already. It kind of gets repetitive, so it gives the kids an option. But also last meeting, we had the opportunity to share our own personal opinions as board members. And the thing that I love so much about this meeting is that we had so many community members come out and speak and share their own opinions, all of which I value, regardless of the opinion. And I believe overwhelmingly our community has spoken very well for themselves. And tonight I'll be casting my vote as a yes in support of my community.
Thank you. Ms. Cantor?
Thank you. I'm in agreement with this course being offered as an elective in 11th or 12th grade. This is from the State of Connecticut Department of Education. 2 people who are present on this, not in the classroom, but in the documentation, Senator Doug McCory of the 2nd District Education, he co-chaired, and Representative Bobby Sanchez of the 25th District Education Committee. They write the education and they approve it. and when they go to experts in history. And I believe the reason they have this is because they know best, the experts, what grades it should be presented in as an elective. And an elective is not equivalent to a requirement. Now, Dr. Hattie's presentation prior to this was indicating that Windsor students are grades 1, 2, or more below grade level. That's coming right out of from the junior high, the middle school. So they're not up to date with ELA and math because they're 1, 2, or more grades below. And I feel that their ground, their foundation has already been fractured from that. Their foundation is not as solid as it needs to be. They were already behind, and then COVID put them more behind. And I don't feel that their ability to comprehend all this is in the right area. That's why we sequence all these classes. I don't want kids cheated. I want the early global studies done because when you don't know all the history, they repeat it. Now, for educating students, you have to keep doing repetition. And then after they've achieved that level, then you go deeper. And I know they have it in the junior high, but they haven't achieved it with the demonstration that she presented us. And I don't want to fracture more of their learning. So I feel that, is my opinion, that it's best achieved as an elective in 11th and 12th grade. And you should continue on taking the early global history, modern global history, and then in their junior year, take the U.S. history along with the offering of that class as an elective. And then the senior year, take it if you want, instead of the junior year. I don't feel their ground should be fractured.
I just want to clarify for the public and the board and anyone present, the state of Connecticut's position about how courses should be laid out, like that progression of courses. So, and I actually have an email from Steve Armstrong with the State Department, who's pretty much the top person within social studies at the State Department. The State Department of Education does not have a prescribed order of courses. In other words, if we wanted to, that is actually dictated by each district. And I have that email if the board members or Dr. Hill need to see it. There are districts that start freshman year with U.S. history and then go and do different global courses or do African American history. The only required thing that we have to do, other than we have to offer this course, which is true, we have to at least by mandate offer it as an elective. But from the State Department of Connecticut, the only thing our students must have, and they don't have to take it senior year, is a half credit in civics. Each district has the liberty and autonomy to decide actually which courses and the order. So I just want to clarify that. I already knew that, but I wanted to get formal clarification from the State Department of Connecticut. And so that is that's the reality of it. Yes, through the mandate, the state mandated that districts offer this course at a minimum as an elective. We are allowed to offer it for social studies and history credit if that is our choice. And just for informational purposes for, again, the board, the community, and everybody in the room, before we knew that we were coming back for a second reading, once the first reading passed and we thought there wasn't going to be a second reading, we already had 62 families sign their children up for the course out of 240 students going to Sage Park. So we definitely have a lot of students, a lot of families that are requesting the course. And we made it clear in the communication, not knowing we were coming back for a second reading, that this is the mandate from the state. We did make it clear about the sequencing of courses and what we are required to do as a district. So I just want to be very clear about that. And I don't know if you want to remark, we have ninth graders in the class now, so I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'll just speak to that. So we have 4 ninth graders in our class, and in no way are they kind of limited in their abilities. In addition to that, the class is unleveled. So we have students of all different kind of backgrounds coming into the course, and I have not seen a difference in that. And I feel like I can speak on that as an expert, someone who's been teaching the class for about 2 years.
You still have the floor.
So I still have another question. So are you eliminating early global history if they take,
We are not eliminating early global history.
well, can they take both classes so they get the
They
benefit
can take
of
early
both?
global history as freshmen and take this course as an elective as upperclassmen if they choose to do that.
But can they take it as a freshman? Can they take early global history and the elective? Even that? Because I think it would benefit the students.
Load up with 2 classes, but that would be unlikely we'd be able to do that in their schedules. So what we would recommend would be they can make the choice in 9th grade.
And then, again, I reiterate what I said about Dr. Hattie's presentation about students being 1, 2, or more years below grade level, and I'm concerned about that. So thank you.
Okay, you done? Ms. Taylor?
Thank you. I grew up in Windsor. I graduated from Windsor High, and I want to echo what a couple of the folks that said in the audience. I wish I could audit the class. I wish it was available when I was, at Windsor High. Unfortunately, we weren't there yet. But what an opportunity for our students to be able to not only take the class as an elective, but it be at the foreground of their high school educational experience as an actual course that will go towards graduation requirement. I think this is an opportunity here. When people think of Windsor, or I won't say, I'll talk about myself. When I think about Windsor, when people find out that, I'm not only, went to Windsor High School, I'm raising my children in Windsor, they say, oh my gosh, it's so diverse there, it's so great. Yes, we check that box. Then we get to the equity part. We're working on it, right? No place is Pleasantville, but we can work and strive to be that Pleasantville, and I think we do a good job with that. But then when we get to the inclusion part, I think people drop off. People get off the exit a little too early, and that's the part that really boggles my mind. Some people feel like these students aren't capable of learning it, but these kids are living it. And if you are gonna say that they're incapable as 9th graders to learn about their history or their fellow students' history or just the backbone of our society, then we're really missing the mark from K to 8, and we need a backup. If you don't think, or people don't think that these students aren't apt enough to digest the information that this dynamic educator is teaching them, then we need to put a pin in it and do some other stuff. Because for me, the conversation is larger than this course. This conversation is larger than this board. This is going to set the standard for generations to come, and I want to be on the right side of history. You have my vote. Thank you.
Next is going to be Mr. Lockhart or Mr. Panos, then Mr. Lockhart.
Sure. No, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Lockhart, then Mr. Panos.
I'm 54 years old, and I went to Hartford Public Schools during a time where education was pretty difficult. Went to a school district at the time that was pretty underfunded, and a lot of the opportunities that we have here in Windsor, I did not have in Hartford. I speak from a perspective where I didn't learn a lot of my history until like my junior year in college, and it was forced upon me by electives. I didn't learn about a lot of other cultures either until I got to college. Weaver High School was about 99% minority, and all I knew was my kind. So that's what forced me to not go to a HBCU and to go to a PWI. I went to the University of Hartford. I stayed home to get that education. I grew up in a time where we were just coming out of the civil rights movement, and a lot of those tensions were still running high, especially in Hartford. I distinctly remember a lot of the talk. I wasn't alive during the Windsor Street riots and a lot of those riots back in the day. But I have lived some times where, unfortunately, they were difficult and was living some of those experiences that were being expressed and experienced in the South. So if it wasn't from my perspective alone, I would not truly understand exactly where I am today. I'm of the belief that the generation of children today are so resilient in relation to my generation. I grew up in a generation where we went outside and played. You went out and you came home before the street light came on. We never stayed inside. We live in a generation today where information is easily available to them, where back in my day, if you had to do a research paper, you had to use encyclopedias, you had to actually go to the library, you actually had to use index cards, you actually had to do the work. I truly believe the children of today are resilient enough to understand exactly who they are and what they are. These kids can operate technology better than most adults in this room today at an early age. These children can do things that if you encourage them and present those opportunities to you, they will work wonders and really, really teach you some things. So it's my job here to make sure that all of the pains that I've gone through in life, but more importantly, all the pains all of us have gone through in life, that we don't repeat some of the things that have been sour in our history. I believe in this country. I believe in its potential. I believe in her. I also understand that all of us, no matter what our culture is, we've had a role in it, good, bad, and indifferent. And too often I've been taught, and I can only speak for me, I've been taught a perspective where I've been marginalized, a lot of people have been glorified, and quite frankly, some cultures just frankly ignored as if they didn't exist. I truly believe everyone in this room and those within the sound of my voice, you matter. I truly believe you matter. I truly believe that your ancestors, for whatever reason, found America worthy to be here. And we all are here in this together. I truly believe the way that this course is being offered right now, it can be a substitute for early global studies. I think it would be a good segue into modern global studies. It can definitely be a good segue into U.S. history. It can definitely speak about some of the atrocities across the world. Slavery didn't only happen in America. It happened all across the world. My ancestors just happened to get off the boat a little bit later than some. With that being said, I'm not ashamed of my history. I'm not ashamed of the pain and struggles of my history. I'm not ashamed of my ancestors, but more importantly, I'm not ashamed of your ancestors either. I want to learn this history. I want to know this history. I want to understand why are we here. How did we get here? And I say that to say this. This can be a racial divide thing. I choose not to be ignorant. I choose not to be nice. Nice is to be ignorant, if you look at the true nature of the word. I understand that none of us got here by ourselves. We've had someone pray us through, even through the Underground Railroad back in the day with Harriet Tubman. She didn't do all that by herself. She had a network of people that supported her, and they weren't all black. I'm sure that there have been different cultures that have gone through different things in their lives to come to America from whatever country. I'm not going to name no country because I don't want to offend anybody. But at the same time, a lot of us have come to this country for one reason or another. And I think we deserve to learn that history. And what I'm saying is that at times we fail to deliver that history. I believe Windsor High School is a school where we should be able to prepare our students for the global world. I've heard that said. I truly believe in that purpose. I truly, truly do. What we need to do is make sure we have to agree on how we get there. This is uncomfortable for all of us. For some of us, this is ripping off a scab that has, quite frankly, have not healed. And for some folks, this might be a sense of history where when you start ripping away power, authority, decision-making, the ability to appropriate, that's where people get uncomfortable. I always tell people all the time, you're tired of hearing about racism, I'm tired of living it. Even to this day. But more importantly, I'm tired of other races being condemned just for who they are, too. I want you to understand what I'm saying. It goes both ways, because I'm not going to be hypocritical about this. But at the same time, we need to do what's right. I truly believe in our children. We have a moral obligation to educate our children to the best of our ability. That's why we're here. I'm going to be in full support of this. I have deep regrets that this was not available for me, wasn't available for my father and his father's father. But I'm going to make sure that I'm on the right side of history to make sure that it's available for my granddaughter, her children, her children's children, and beyond. More importantly, it's available for everybody's children within this district. I offer that with agape love, because at the end of the day, somehow, some way, we got to get through this. And there's a lot of offended people at times about this, and I'm not talking about on this dais, but just in general, especially with the national climate, with the condemning of history, the destroying of books, the banning of books, just the flat-out not sharing of history. I'm still learning my history at 54 years old. I don't know it all, and I'm ashamed to say that. But I can tell you British lit, I can give you British history, I can tell you Roman Empire history, I can give you Greek mythology, I can give you all that under the sun, because that's all that has been expressed to me. So I'm culturally conditioned based off of where I am today. I just want to make sure that the kids that we have leaving out of Windsor High School, that the profile of that graduate is that they are truly prepared for the global economy, and to make sure that they have a fighting chance to not be ignorant, and to make sure they recognize and support everybody, just not be selfish within their own. So, Mr. President, I will be supporting this motion.
Thank you very much. Mr. Panos?
Thank you, Mr. President. If you look at the framework as it was written up by the state, referring to the document that Ms. Cantor was talking about, you'll find that in, it's not this page, but it's later page, about page 9, I think it is, they specifically said that this should be taught as a junior or senior year course, and that prerequisites should be modern global and U.S. history. Now, I went through that, most of it, the framework, the curriculum framework, and the writing there is, without question, adult. I mean, the discussions between, you can have them read it, but this is, you know, this is not a textbook. I don't believe you have a textbook for this. You read, you know, you have all the sources that are in there. It's going to be quite a difficult thing, and the reason, of course, why they would make that recommendation, they were the ones who wrote it, understood the level that is required, the background knowledge that is required in order to deal with it. It, for example, goes through several incidents that they would not know anything about. The Spanish-American War, you know, and they were fighting in the Philippines. Now they might know from black history, you know, that they've taken throughout their lives about, say, the Buffalo Soldiers, things of this nature. But there are a lot of incidents in history that they would need to know pretty well before they, you know, something about the First World War. What was that about? You know, you can just drop this down and all of a sudden start talking and say, well, they were in the First World War. Well, you need the background to it as to why they were there. And so that's why they recommended it that way, despite, you may have called somebody up, but this is what is officially in the curriculum framework. That's the recommendation. So an order, you might, if you think early global is unnecessary, maybe, you say, well, I can take it in the 6th and 7th grade, that's equivalent. Well, I mean, it doesn't say much for the early global, history course that we have. Usually, you take history, it goes, you learn at one level, and then you learn at a more sophisticated level. So you could switch, I suppose, the order and do, let's say, in your freshman year, you could do modern global, and then U.S. history in the sophomore year. But their recommendation is that it be taken, after, as prerequisite. The prerequisites are modern global and U.S. history. Otherwise, you're going to have a difficulty understanding it. So if you want people to actually understand it, that's the way you'll do it. Otherwise, it just becomes, it's unrelated things that's strung together. It's not going to retain. If you want people to learn how to take this forward with them, you'll give them in a later year. So those are the, the general things. You can't learn history much out of context. It's I think it's just something, the purpose is, to try to get some interest in it. I suppose maybe that's the problem. Maybe you don't have enough people taking it. But there are, in addition to that, the course that you have, by the way, Black History was offered here, the first time it was offered when? In 2010, 2011? I think we had a Black History course since about 2011.
This course has been offered for 2 years. This particular course has been offered for 2 years.
Excuse me?
This particular course has been offered for 2 years. This is the second year.
Right. This one includes Latinx. It's a Latino, and since it's a full, 1 credit course. Right? So it's 2 semester course. Right. So, but we had already. It's not like we weren't offering it. We already have a history of offering African American and Black history. Right? Was a half credit.
We offered a half-year elective.
Half year, correct.
Not this course, a different course.
Right. Now, one of the unusual things about this course is that it is being prescribed by the state legislature. In other words, this is a consequence of a political process, right?
No, it wasn't. It was the consequence of students who went to the state to testify in support of the course. So this was a student-driven course to the legislator. It wasn't something that came out of the political chambers.
Without question, it was passed by the legislature.
Without question, it was passed by the legislator with influence and being informed by student experiences.
All laws are influenced by someone. That's part of the process. Right. So this is right.
Yep. Mr. Wallison?
So just to reiterate, here's the email from the State Department, and we are looking at the actual curriculum. Again, it's available on the CERC website. There's nothing in the description of the course that designates it as being for a particular grade in the description of the course, and I'm on page 9 of the actual document. They do give guidance for schools if they want to run it as an elective, how they could describe the course. But again, to reiterate the email from the State Department of Connecticut and the social studies, head of social studies for the State Department of Connecticut, April 22nd was the email. What districts offer and in what sequence is completely up to the district. We do not require early global studies in high school. Our only state requirement is 1 semester of civics.
All right, but so you couldn't find the reference to the prerequisite?
I believe we're looking at 2 different documents because this is not the same document that you are looking at. I've also read the mandate very closely, The language of the mandate says we must offer, at a minimum, offer the course as an elective, and we must use a combination of the curriculum that CERC put forward as well as, quote, public and private materials. That's all that's in the actual mandate. And again, I have worked with the State Department on this, not just the person that's on this email, but Nicole Jones, who was our humanities supervisor here, who now is the humanities supervisor for the State Department of Connecticut, Education in Connecticut, who also confirmed that there's no designated time that we have to offer this course in terms of what year, nor is there there's no designation of any course, even the civics course can be offered at any time.
All right, but this is a specialty course, right? This is not a survey course.
It is a survey course. It covers hundreds and hundreds of years. I don't know how, we covered this last time, so I'm not going to go through it again, but it is a survey course.
Well, I looked up the curriculum framework and I went through it, and it certainly is special, especially certainly through the Black history of it. It is quite specific.
It's special because it's an awesome course.
I disagree with the characterization of this. But anyway.
I just disagree. It covers more than 500 years of history.
Mr. Panos, if you have something new to add to this?
No, I just think this is an error. I think that the students learn it better in the way it is. It was obviously placed there to begin with for the reasons that I gave. So I don't know what's changed since then, but I think it's an error to do this, and I think there are many, there are things that are, even in what is there are many things that are missing. And I would say that this, even as it is, as I've seen it read, it is quite partisan in its presentation. It has some very good parts to it, but it's quite partisan, and and it doesn't have the full range of intellectual thought that should go into it, or views that go into this thing. So I will be opposing this as a partisan, as well as the reasons that I gave you, that it would be much better off to leave it for more adult students rather than expecting them to do this as freshmen. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Kind of where to begin. This, to me, is so straightforward. We're giving parents and students an option. If they want to if they think it's important, they can talk to their guidance counselor about that it's, what my options are and why I might want to take this course versus early global studies. We're not requiring this course to be taken as a freshman. What we found recently, groups of students who've come to us with changes, especially to the language arts program, first with 11th and 12th graders coming and working with teachers at Windsor High School, and then working through Ms. Feynman and coming to the board and talking about the importance of seeing themselves in the reading programs that they've been offered. And additions were made that more reflect the students that we have. And some of those same students, they were ready to graduate, but they said, I'd like to now work on 9th and 10th grade language arts program to bring that so that students, when they first come to Windsor High School early on, that may spark them to be a reader. And this kind of course in 9th grade may spark an interest in history to see themselves and be excited about it. And again, this is not requiring it. This is giving them an option, and an option hopefully that the guidance will be talking to parents and students about going forward. This course was approved by the legislature. Whether or not you want to say it was partisan, that's the nature of legislatures that they are, but it was passed, and it was not passed as a requirement. But it was only as alluded to before, mentioned before, to school systems how to at least offer it, how to be available throughout the state of Connecticut. The course is being taught now. We have a wonderful educator right in front of us who's teaching it. We see that already students and parents are opting for this course with their 8th graders for next year as a possibility. And I want to read first to our current policy on curriculum. And it states in Policy 6140 that curriculum should be guided by such factors as, and in 2B, the range of abilities, aptitudes, and interests of our students. And also under C, aspirations of residents of the school district for our students. We've had a number of parents have come out here, most of them speaking in support of this course and giving our students and parents an option here. Again, this does not eliminate a student who wants to take early global studies. It merely gives students a choice. And I will be voting for this again as I did last month. I'd like to go back and forth. Anybody else who'd like to make further comments? Starting with Mr. Wollaston and then Mr. Halleck. Do you have another?
Well, Mr. President, if I may, Mr. Panos, are you ready to call the question?
Yes.
If we're ready to call the question, we're ready to call the question, unless you have something to say. Ms. Taylor?
No.
I believe we're ready to call the question.
Okay. Okay, the motion's been made and seconded, and all those in favor of the revision say aye. Aye.
May we have this as a roll call vote, please?
Okay. Asking for a roll call vote. Alexis?
Miss Jill Cantor,
No, for the reasons I stated before.
Mr. David Fury,
Yes.
Mr. Jeremy Halleck,
No.
Mr. Leonard Lockhart,
I will vote yes, and I will also state as part of my vote that the state mandates that students learn Holocaust history and take civics course for graduation. We currently cover the Holocaust in modern global studies, and all seniors take civics. Modern global studies, as we offer it today in Windsor, it's in 10th grade. So those are two things that we mandate. As I stated previously, I've learned about the Holocaust extensively, but I didn't learn anything about myself. And that's why I'm a strong supporter of this motion.
Mr. Paul Panos,
No.
Miss Ayanna Taylor,
CERC suggested that the African American / Black and Puerto Rican / Latino studies be a prerequisite, a recommended prerequisite to U.S. history, which we teach in 11th grade. This is a prerequisite for that. We can basically slice and dice when we teach certain things. I think this is a fantastic time, 9th grade, to introduce information to students that they'll want even more to grasp onto if they extend their education after high school. So that is a huge yes for me.
Mr. Nathan Woolston,
I gladly cast my vote as a yes.
Okay, I believe the motion passes 4-3. Next item on the agenda is committee reports. Mr. Halleck?
Yes, I just had something to say regarding committee reports.
Okay.
We haven't had a long-term planning committee in about a year now, and we have obviously, as we discussed in the past, a lot of board members have been in support of the vocational track, and that's definitely something that I want to continue to work on. So I just wanted to make sure that going forward we can have some of these meetings, and I agree with one of the speakers tonight who said we have to look down the road 5, 10 years and come up with a plan. We should be doing that now, I feel. Because every year that goes by, there's another class that's graduating that won't have the opportunity to be involved in this vocational track. So I definitely think it's important, a work that we as a committee have to get done. And that's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Williston, I think you may want to comment also because about long-range planning as the chair.
Yes. So I was speaking with my caucus on possibly holding a meeting just last night, actually, on just something similar to what we heard in the audience as well. But we can include conversation about the things that you want to speak about as well on the agenda. If you'd like to make those requests made known to me by email, I'd gladly follow up. But I would love to have a long-range planning meeting before our next meeting in June, just to discuss our the things that you mentioned. I can add to the agenda as well, but I'd like to speak to our plan for the next 10 years or the next few years and the years to come, even after the superintendent that we have leaves us. So we're making sure that Dr. Terrell Hill leaves an amazing legacy here in Windsor, which he already has earned many stripes on his badge. But we just want to, beef it up a little bit more. Why not, right? So thank you for that.
Hopefully,
just email me, and let me know, and I'll add whatever to the agenda, or I'll have it added to our agenda.
Okay. Yeah, and reach out. Leonard, are you the third member?
I believe so. But what I want to do is also reach out to Mr. Panos as well, just to see if there's. I also would like to reach out to Mr. Panos, saying that this is coming on a topic, to see if there's anything from his caucus through him and Jeremy that they would like expressed.
For long-range planning.
Oh, okay, well, not now.
No, but before the meeting.
Sure.
Any other committee reports? Okay. Other matters, Board of Ed special meeting, Assistant Superintendent interview, Tuesday, May 23rd, 6:30 in the LPW boardroom here. And item 10B, Board of Ed special meeting, Superintendent evaluation, Tuesday, June 6th at 6 p.m. in the LPW boardroom. Our next Board of Ed meeting is Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. Next item is...
Mr. President?
Yes.
If we may, may we please have back and forth announcements of the board members, please?
Yeah, I was going to do that after audience to visitor, just in case. But we can do it. It should be under announcements.
Only because I saw it there, but
Yeah.
I
No,
yield
that's
to
fine.
you. I yield to your leadership.
Hopefully, nobody's in the room other than the usual suspects. Sorry, guys. Announcements. Mr. Wollaston.
I have no announcements today.
Mr. Halleck.
Thank you. Shad Derby is on Saturday. Just want everyone to be safe and have a great time at the event. Always a great event here in town every single year, as well as the events that lead up to Shad Derby. Saturday is also Armed Forces Day, so we definitely want to thank everyone who has served or is serving now. We definitely couldn't be here and do what we're doing without them out there. So I just want to acknowledge them. As everyone knows, Sunday was Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms on the board and out there in the community as well. And a personal privilege. My wife and I celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary on May 6th, so I just want to tell her happy anniversary. And that's all the announcements I have for tonight. Thank you.
Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also wanted to lift the Shad Derby, but not only the Shad Derby parade, but all the Shad Derby queen and her court and all the things that these young ladies do for the community and to give back and all the things that they do. I can't wait to see them on the float as we march on Saturday. Lifting teacher appreciation, that has already been lifted, but we can't do it without our teachers. And there's also nurses appreciation as well, and we have a nurse on our board.
Last week.
Have a stroke. So listen. And last but not least, we always lift the high school graduates, but we also have promotions happening when, you know, our kiddos are going from OE and Paquonic to Clover and JFK. We have our JFK and Clover kiddos going on to Sage Park. My son is graduating from 5th grade. And then we also have go Stephen. And then 8th grade promotion to the high school, which is amazing. And for those parents, if you have not signed up your student for the program over the summer, it's really worthwhile to just get acclimated with our student leaders in the building. It could be overwhelming, but I suggest everyone tune in for more information about that. And that is it.
Thank you. Ms. Cantor.
Thank you. It's been truly an incredible, fast-paced month trying to keep up with everything. It's been so much fun and very exhausting, so I'm going to keep it short. We have Memorial Day coming up. I want everybody to remember the soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice for us, for the best country in the whole world. We are land of the free, home of the brave, because of the brave. And I also want people to be careful out there with the driving. It's become very speed trap like, crossing the streets, looking behind you, left, right, in front of you, all over. People are driving erratic, and I want to congratulate the seniors, the high school seniors, on their graduation. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lockhart.
Thank you. Some of the thunder has been taken. Last week, I believe, was Nurses Week, so, happy Nurses Week to all those. Mr. Halleck, happy birthday to you. This is your birthday today, and you chose to be with us today. So happy birthday to you, sir. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jeremy. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
They're going to make the choral.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Too much Taurus energy in the room. Too much Taurus energy.
I think you had too many cookies there tonight. Mr. Panos.
Yeah, I wasn't done.
You weren't done? Oh.
I was not done yet.
Okay, sorry.
He's never done.
I'm just warming up.
Oh, boy. It's
Obviously,
got about 20 pages there.
A personal shout out to my daughter. She's being promoted from the 8th grade to the high school. Lord, pray for me. She is my female twin, so I'm sorry in advance, sir. Graduation's coming up, so to the seniors, congratulations. The next time we have a board member, you will be graduates of the high school. I just want to say thank you for the hard work you've put in, and I'm excited about the next chapter of your life. Definitely Memorial Day is upon us. We definitely need to recognize those that made the ultimate sacrifice for us to have the liberties and freedoms that we enjoy within this country. By always be safe, and the red truck has been rolling a little bit too often lately. And I just want to make sure that, we enjoy our time together, because within a twinkle of an eye, things can change for the worst. And a lot of times I see people at their worst moments, and it's not good. So people, please slow down, and please be kind to your fellow man, woman, and child. Thanks.
Mr. Panos.
I think they've all said this. They even stole my happy birthday for Jeremy. Very good. But I will say I did not enjoy this choral group as much as the other one the other day. I'd say I was. You had a lot of enthusiasm, though. So anyway, well, enjoy Shad Derby, and we'll see you on Memorial Day. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a little strange that our next meeting, school will be over. We're having our meeting on June 20th, the last regular Board of Education meeting. So before that, I want to give a shout out to some retirees, people I've known very well. The first is Horace White at Pequannock School. Unbelievable pride that he has and that he shows of Pequannock School as a custodian, a longtime custodian, with many family members still in the district. I've known Horace a long time. My kids were there when he was there. And it was important for a long time of just having male figures in the building and a male figure of color. And he's going to be very missed. I think he's here till the end of July, but he will be missed. Another person is a personal friend of mine and former tennis player, always better than me, and that's Dave Lemieux, who's retiring, I think 39 years in the district. He's a psychologist at Windsor High School and Sage Park as well. And a big regret for me as a longtime mentor of Team Paragon, Peter Moore, physics teacher at Windsor High School and former Teacher of the Year, and just somebody who, to me personally, he put knowing that I was my daughter Sarah, my youngest, that I was the father. She probably knew nothing about programming, about electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, how to change a light bulb, anything else. He gave her a video camera and said, go around to the different subgroups of Team Paragon, and I'll show you how to edit on a video on an Apple computer, Mac computer. Her eyes just lit up. And that was her entry into the world of communication and videos, and which was her passion. Went to college, went out to California. Dr. Hill, when he went out to California, would take her to lunch when they got together. And Peter Moore will be very much missed. And he brought out students that not necessarily were going to be going to be engineers, but showed them that science can be interesting, fun, and something that we all need to have some knowledge of. So those are only three of many people, but I know everybody wants to go home. And so I'm looking for one more motion. Oh, audience to visitor, sorry. First, I'll see if there's anybody online who wants to, and then I'll ask for people here.
Mr. President, there are no individuals with their hand raised, and there are no questions in the Q&A feature.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience who'd like to address the board? Good. Now I'll wait for a motion.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Lockhart, Mr. Pano seconded. Probably a long discussion on, no discussion. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Motion carries 7-0-0. We are adjourned at 9:28. Eyesight.